I'm Dr. Chris Burke, and this is CSCE 155E. And we are live streaming on YouTube. We will be doing this throughout the semester. Feel free to use the chat and YouTube. I am monitoring it because I'm on the university network, so it's all good as far as bandwidth goes, at least for now. But if you do have, if you want to keep random stuff on YouTube, that's fine. But there's also a live Q&A session on Piazza, and there you can actually ask more focused questions if you have them. Looks like a lot of people are there and just shooting this stuff. So I may not actually see your question on the live YouTube chat. Go ahead and use Piazza if you actually do have a question, okay? So again, this is CSCE 155E. I'm Dr. Chris Burke. So first of all, are you in the right class? For the most part, most of you are. It's for computer science majors, computer engineering majors, electrical engineering majors, but it's not exclusively just those majors. Anybody is welcome to take this. It does fulfill any requirement for a Computer Science 1 course, or if you just want to get started coding, it's also a good course for that. But you should be aware of the alternatives if you're not one of those majors. Computer Science, or CSCE 155T, is also a Computer Science 1 course. It uses the Python programming language, and it is, I believe, running this fall. Also 155N, which is for a general engineering course. It uses MATLAB, and that's also an option. Then, of course, I'm also teaching CSCE 155H. If you've subscribed, you might get notifications that I'm broadcasting tomorrow at 11 o'clock. Tuesdays, Thursdays, we'll be broadcasting, live streaming for that course. You're welcome to watch along if you want. The course is open. The main difference with the honor section is that we cover two different languages, Java and C. So it's not quite twice the work, but that is the honors part of it, that we're covering two different languages, and it is a little bit different, but we cover the same topics. If you are interested, we may have a few seats left over, but it is currently at 28. This course actually is at 228, I think I last looked at it. Another option, though, is if you do have an extensive computer science background, several years of programming under your belt, and you really want to try it out, jumping ahead to computer science 2, that's also an option. But you really have to jump on that option really quickly and determine whether or not it's right for you. It's not for everyone, but if you do have a lot of experience already, that is a possibility. Okay. Yes, the live QA is open on Piazza right now. Just up at the top, I believe it's live Q&A, and you can go ahead and post there. I'll go ahead and make a post there. First post, right? And first post, right? And hopefully you'll be able to see it now. Oops. Okay. Other. There we go. All right, so there's Piazza. Live Q&A is up here. It might look a little bit different for you because you're looking at it from the student view. I'm not gonna keep there. Somebody upvoted it. You're on the right page. I'm not going to show it on the main screen because if you have a question and you want to ask it anonymously, I don't want your name to be revealed to anybody. So go ahead and ask away if you've got questions on Piazza. But otherwise, if you want to keep the YouTube chat for random, that's perfectly fine too. Okay. So your instructor is me. I've been in contact already with most of you over the last couple of weeks, telling you how the course is going to go. This is my 10th year, I believe, here at UNL, this is my third time instructing this particular course in this particular format, not live streaming format, of course, but well, actually for the last 3 years we have put stuff online, and it's just we've used different tools up till this point. This is the first time that actually I've live streamed on YouTube before for this course in years past, but not as the regular lecture delivery. I like baseball. I'm missing a game right now to teach you guys, so don't worry. I'll watch the recording later on. Just nobody post the score in chat, or I will go ahead and ban you. I don't know how to ban you, so never mind. Of course, Husker football, etc., etc. And I like running. Usually we have a run with the faculty. every year, every month or so. Unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to be able to do it this year, but of course, if you're interested in running, maybe next semester we can get the run with faculty going. We usually take a 5K each month, sometimes in the morning. Okay. All right. So some questions over here. How do we get to the lab? We'll talk about that later. Are live streams required, or can we just watch the recorded video? You can do whatever you want, man. It'll automatically be recorded and posted immediately after, assuming that there are no copyright claims that shut the video down. In which case, I have to cut out the beginning song, and then it'll be available as soon as possible. But of course, remember that there are about 60 pre-recorded videos already available. Right? You have 21 learning assistants I'm working with this semester, and they're all there, and they're holding office hours Monday through Friday, pretty much all day, excluding, of course, the lecture time here. I'm holding office hours every day, 1:30 to 3:30. We're all on Zoom. Okay, there is no face-to-face office hours. You need to get onto Zoom in order to speak with somebody, but that's great because then you can share screens. You can go into a breakout room. If you're working with another student in the course, you can go ahead and jump into a breakout room and work together if you want. Of course, if you want to use Discord or something else like that to work with another student in the course, that's perfectly fine as well. Okay. So what is this course about? Let's just talk a little bit about that at the front. And I usually like to grab choice quotes that kind of gives the course a theme. The first one is from Douglas Adams, a book called Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency, which is there's been a TV series of it before, but it doesn't have anything to do with the book. And he's got a quote in there that is really great for Computer Science 1. If you really want to understand something, the best way is to try to explain it to somebody else. That forces you to sort it out in your own mind. That really is the essence of programming. By the time you've sorted out a complicated idea into little tiny steps that even a stupid machine can deal with, then you certainly learn something about it yourself. And that is the essence of problem solving. The quote says programming, but that's essentially problem solving. You break a problem down into smaller and smaller parts until that part is trivially solved, or the solution exists and you can pull an off-the-shelf solution and just apply it immediately. Right? Well, in the context of programming, the takeaway there is that computers don't solve problems, you do. Computers only automate solutions. Computers are dumb. They do exactly what they're told to do. It's up to you as a human to solve that problem by breaking it down into little tiny bits that you can then program directly, or you can call that function in a certain library to do the heavy lifting for you. The second quote is from Michael Crichton, another author. He wrote Jurassic Park, if you might remember. This is not from one of his books. This is from a magazine article. In my experience, you assert control over a computer, show it who's boss, by making it do something unique. That means programming it. If you devote a couple of hours of programming to a new machine, you'll feel better about it afterwards. And again, that's another theme of this course. You need to be the masters of the machine. Otherwise, if you're not the masters of the machine, then the machines end up mastering you. So keep that in mind. What is computer science? What I was trying to get across to you earlier is that it is problem solving at its core. Computers don't solve problems, you do. Computers only automate solutions. And it's a discipline that is becoming ancillary to all other disciplines. There's a nice quote here from, well, over 50 years ago, but it's almost accurate. 50 years ago, Isaac Asimov was asked, what does the world of 2014 look like? We're not there yet, but within the next 10, 15 years, we will be. The world, that is what the quote here, of course, 2014 has passed. The world of 2014, insert whatever new year you want there, will have few routine jobs that can be done better by some machine than any other human being. Mankind will therefore have to largely become a race of machine tenders. Schools will have to be oriented in this direction. All the high school students will be taught the fundamentals of computer technology, will become proficient in binary arithmetic, and will be trained to perfection in the use of computer languages that have developed out of those like the contemporary Fortran. Again, we're not quite there yet, but there are plenty of pundits that say that, that we should be or that we're already behind the times. That if not every single discipline is chomping at the bit to get their students to be able to at least program an Excel file that they can dump the data to in a Python script and do something, some data visualization or something like that. We will, in the next 5, 10, 15 years or whatever you, however you want to prognosticate, we'll be in a situation where that will be absolutely essential to every job. You'll need at least, have you ever programmed before? Right now, you probably can go into a job interview that has nothing to do with computer science. And if you have that, I know how to program in C, or I know how to program in Python, or I know how to program in Java, that will immediately take that application and put it up on top. All right. So it is an important skill that everybody is eventually going to have to have. What is Computer Science 1? So what is this course? It's an introduction to computer science. It's not really a programming course. Programming is a tool that we're going to use in order to talk about concepts in computer science, and the basic concepts being problem solving. Problem solving, computational thinking, algorithms, data structures, data processing, etc. How do we get data? How do we manipulate data to get it to look the way that we want or to do what we want? And the world is process. Everything is computation, or everything can be boiled down to some computational process because everything is a process. Biological, physical processes, mechanical engineering processes, the economy. All right, if you want to be a quant, you need to know how to program in something. The engineering world as a whole, everything basically boils down to processes. Therefore, everything boils down to problem solving and computer science. Right? Same could be said for math, by the way, but I won't go into that right now. So what are the essential topics in this course? Mastery of a fundamental programming language, a high-level programming language, in particular C. Problem-solving methodology, software development principles and tools, data abstraction, modeling processes, control structures, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, go ahead and read that at your leisure. In the syllabus, I've also got skills outcomes that you should also be aware of. All right. The course is organized into modules, and there's not roughly, but there's exactly one per week. Each module covers a major topic or subtopic, and every one has different components. We have graded reading, we have videos, both pre-recorded videos and, of course, these lecture videos, live streamed with recordings available after the fact that you can watch later or go back and review. We've got a lab, and then we've got a hack. A hack is kind of an extended lab that you get started in your hack session on Thursdays, but then you have until the next Monday to turn it in. So if you get done with it that day, great, you're good to go. But otherwise, you'll have the weekend to continue working on it with a partner or something else. We'll talk about the details here in a second. So each one of these in detail. First of all, the readings. We've adopted this semester an online interactive textbook. It costs $58, so it's not going to break the bank. Looks like you all started a Discord. Great. It's not going to break a bank. It's $58. It's basically a subscription. And you'll have a chunk of reading, and then below that you'll have questions. Usually it's you can execute code, or it's a multiple choice thing. You can answer as many times as you want to get it right. All right, it's not like you have one chance and one and done. And that's it. It's graded on completion. So you read through the entire assigned reading, complete all the tasks, and your grade in Canvas is automatically updated with completion. Right? If you only do half of it, well, then you only get half of the points. There are 13 readings, each worth 15 points, representing about 19.5% of your grade. The readings are generally due before the lectures that we cover the material on. The one exception, of course, to that is your first reading, which is due on this Friday at midnight. After that, then all of your readings are due at 5 p.m. On Monday, right before we start this live stream. You do have one due on 1 week from today at 5 o'clock, so keep that in mind. You need to read the relevant sections before starting the modules, before coming to lecture or viewing lecture, and that's why we made them due beforehand. Of course, the first one we made that due this Friday because logistically we can't expect you to get it done. We also have a supplemental free textbook if you want. It's mine and it's available there. It covers basically the same topics, but it's not interactive. It does cover some more. I think in my opinion, it covers some topics deeper. So if you want a deeper understanding of things, then you should read the relevant chapters that have been assigned. And of course, there are going to be many supplementary articles. Let's go ahead and take a look at this course already in Canvas. You'll see that it's all organized in these four quadrants here. Here's the material, of course, the lectures, the required reading, that's not the graded reading. Of course, the syllabus, you should be reading that. The chapter 1 in my textbook, and required viewing. 1.1, I walk you through that first lab that's due tomorrow. 1.2, I walk you through that first hack that is due next Monday. So make sure that you're watching those and following along and getting the lab and the hack done. The actual graded material over here is in the green area. Module 1, the graded reading. If you just click on that, it'll take you to zyBooks within Canvas. Now, again, I have not been able to get the damn bookstore to answer my questions as to whether or not there are more copies. So please keep trying at the bookstore. But another option is to simply pay through Canvas if you've got a credit card. If you have to use the financial aid or you don't have a credit card or you're using a scholarship to pay for your books, just keep trying at the bookstore. Again, as I made in the post in Piazza, if they still do not come through by Friday, then we can make some adjustments. Okay. Otherwise, your lab 1, which is due on Tuesday, tomorrow at midnight, there's the handout here, and then the starter code is here on GitHub. And finally, hack, hack 1, which is due next Monday. Of course, you can get started on that right away if you want to watch the video, or you just get started on your Thursday hack session via Zoom. Okay. Let's take a second for a few questions here. Looks like other people are answering. Great. If they're resolved, then I'll go ahead and ignore them. I'm watching video 1.2 and tried to do the following command. It doesn't look. It looks like you might have skipped a step, so make sure to go back and go through each one of those steps. Otherwise, hop onto Zoom later on after the lecture, and somebody can help you. How do you turn in the lab? Good question. Watch video 1.1. There is a web hand-in and web grader that I'll also talk about in this lecture later on. Okay? All right. So, continuing here. We have over 60 pre-prepared videos, 9.5 hours of material that's available on YouTube for you to watch. Like I said, those are going to be linked to in here. Next week, for example, in your modules, you have required viewing 2.1 through 2.6. Right? Those are all videos. We go through various exercises. I introduce you to variables and operators, etc. They're all organized for each one of these modules each week. And of course, I'll be sending out reminders on Piazza of what you should be doing for the next week. Okay. You should watch those before class is my recommendation. Of course, it's YouTube, and there are watch counts, but I'm not going to police that. That's on you to pick up the material or to watch the relevant videos at your pace if you need to. But of course, you do have stuff that you need to turn in. Okay. They'll present basically the same material as I'm covering in lecture, but of course it'll be a different perspective with different exercises. So you've got basically double the video material if you need it. Okay. Let's see, and of course you can watch it after a lecture if you want as a review. Every Monday and Wednesday we'll be here at 5 o'clock live streaming. I'll always play some sort of a music at the beginning just to that if you've subscribed, and I don't care if you subscribe or not, but if you have subscribed, you might get an email saying that, oh yeah, we're live streaming now. Oh yeah, I'll go ahead and hop on. Otherwise, we'll start exactly at 5 every single time. I will never go past 6:15. We might end early if we need to, if we've covered everything, but every Monday and Wednesday. Unfortunately, because of the social distancing, and I'm not going to turn my webcam around right now, but in the room, only about literally every sixth seat is available. They really cut us down here from 285 seats down to 53 seats. So as outlined in the syllabus, which we'll take a look at here in a second, you are only allowed to come to every fourth actual lecture face to face. And the schedule for doing that is in the syllabus. Unfortunately, that's just the reality that we have to that we have to adhere to. You should still take notes. All right. The way that I'm going to lecture is these are the only slide sets that you'll probably ever see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to live code my lectures. I will be typing on my keyboard here, and you'll see the notes come up. We'll be doing code samples, and I'll go ahead and cut and paste those and put those into the notes. Those notes will then get posted to our GitHub page, and you'll be able to see the updates and reference those notes. But still, that does not relieve you of the need of having to take your own notes. I may miss something. I may have a typo. You might hear. I might say something without writing it down. Right? You really need to take those notes. So of course, the recordings will always be available afterwards, so you can always go there. Limit distractions. Of course, this is more of if it were under normal circumstances. Of course, you can always pause and come back to it if you want, and you can always multitask and just play me in the background, which probably most of you are doing anyway. Right? Okay, so labs. There are weekly labs every Tuesday, starting tomorrow. And you have they're designed to be a peer programming under normal circumstances. If you came into lab, we would put you in pairs. Social distancing is probably not going to make that possible. But we can, if you hop on Zoom, we can put you into a breakout room and you can work with somebody. So you're not going to be required to work with anybody. You can do all the labs all on your own if you want. But we highly recommend that you do team up with at least one other person if you want to. Two other people, work in a group of three, get everything done. You probably don't want to get into a large group though, because there are way too many fingers in the pie. There are too many cooks in the kitchen. And how much work are you actually doing? How much are you actually understanding if you're working with 7 other people on a simple lab, right? Ideally, you should work with only one other person. Or again, if you want to do it alone, that's perfectly fine too. You're both responsible for communicating and solving the problem. It's great. All the labs are graded on completion. They're all due at midnight on Tuesdays. The lab handout will tell you exactly what files you need to hand in through the web hand-in. And there's also a web grader that you can check your work and make sure that everything is 100%. You might have a worksheet that you have to complete, and you hand that in as well. And if everything's handed in, you get your full, I believe, 10 points, right? 10 points, if you don't get it done or you half-ass it or something like that, you're not going to get your 10 points, okay? Here is the, I'll show you the web hand-in first, I guess. cscapps.unl.edu. You will see that if you watch a video 1.1 or the login is available at multiple places on the Canvas website. All right, there we go. I think that's my password. Yay. So it'll look something like this. You probably only have access to one course, but you can go ahead and go in here. All the hacks are open. All the labs are open. The project down at the end is open. You just simply click on Lab 1. You can drag and drop your files or click this and open up a dialog and hand in the files. Once you've done that, then you can come over to the web grader. Enter the same exact password for your CSE login, which you need to of course, claim. That's in the video. And grade yourself on Lab 1. And grade me, and great. Whatever your names are, right? And it looks like I've still got Hello World out here, so I'm not going to get my completion points on this because I didn't do the lab right. Oh well. All right, you will want to complete it, of course. All right, I just throw in. I have to troubleshoot the grading script, so sometimes I'll throw in garbage just to make sure that it works. All right. All right, so those are the labs. They are due at midnight every Tuesday. Of course, you're allowed to go work ahead if you really want to. You're allowed to watch all the videos. You're allowed to get this course done next week if you're so inclined. Just working ahead, as quickly as you can. The hacks are worth 25 points each, and there are 14 of those. That represents about 35% of your grade. The labs are about 12% of your grade. That's why we grade them on completion. The hacks are every Thursday. That's your Thursday session. You come into Zoom. You start the hack. You can collaborate with another person if you want, or another two people. Again, don't get into big groups because then you really how much are you getting out of a big group? How much work are you actually doing? How much of the concepts are you actually understanding? Right? There's a diffusion of responsibility. There's a diffusion of knowledge, and you're not getting much with a large group. Right? Each student will turn in their own copy. So even if you work with somebody and you have the exact same code, except with your names out of order or something like that, then you still both need to turn in your own copy. Right? It's due on the following Monday at midnight. So some of these are more where these are more substantial than a lab. You will have the entire weekend to get them done, plus that Monday, and make sure that you get them in by that midnight, though. You turn it on electronically through the web hand-in, like I just demonstrated. There's a semi-auto grading that's available in the web grader. You'll have expected output and your output. Do they match? We're not looking for the exact same thing. If you put in 2 spaces and we only put in 1, we don't care. What we care about is if you say that the output is $58.32 and the expected output is $58.31. That's a problem. You need to go back and fix that and re-hand it in. You can do that as many times as you want on all of this stuff up until the due date. You can go back, fix your bugs, hand it in again, grade it again as many times as you want up until that due date. So there's no reason that you shouldn't get 100% on all of this stuff. But they are graded on style, documentation, design, and of course correctness. All right, so make sure that you're looking at the rubric in Canvas for all this stuff. The rubric is going to be over here in the document. This is not Canvas, but there's a rubric linked to in Canvas, and it looks something like this. What is style? Appropriate variable names and functions or meta identifiers. Naming conventions are consistent. Good use of white space, clean, readable code, well organized, etc. What is documentation? You should, at the very least, to start out with, you should have a header up there with your name on it, a date, the purpose of the program, etc. Design, the code needs to be well organized and efficient. It's modular when appropriate. Corner cases and bad input are taken care of as per each assignment and the directions of each assignment. The correctness is how many test cases do you actually pass. If there are 5 test cases and you only pass one of them, well, you're only going to get 20% of the correctness points. The points are distributed as 2 points for style, 2 points for documentation, 5 points for design, and 16 points for correctness. And so each one is worth, or each hack is worth, that doesn't, yeah, that adds up to 25. Good. Each hack is worth 25 points. You have 14 of them, giving you 35% of your grade. Okay. Of course, you'll get the hang of this as we go along and you actually start doing hacks. There is a project at the end. It's essentially, I'd say, equivalent to about maybe 3 hacks, but it's worth 100 points, which is about 10% of your grade. It's a mini project. There's no collaboration allowed on that. So collaboration, of course, is allowed on labs. In fact, they are encouraged on labs and hacks. But for your project and your exams, no collaboration is allowed. We have to have some assessment here that it tells us how well you are learning the material rather than how well your partners are learning the material. Okay. Tentatively, there are 2 exams, midterm, which is scheduled, and 1 final exam. They're all coding exercises. So it will be laptop, or if you're at home, we of course will not be taking them in this room because we can't fit 228 people here. And of course, there's an online section. At least a computer is required to take the exam. I'll simply just release, or tentatively, I will release it that morning. You might have from 5 to 6:15 the normal time period, or I might extend that to midnight. I don't know. It really depends on what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks anyway. All right. Collaboration is not mooching. All right. So when you work with somebody on labs, when you work with somebody on hacks, you're not sitting back and saying, okay, well, you do the work and I'll go ahead and watch you do it. All right. That's not that's just mooching. You're not learning anything there, and you won't learn anything. And when you get to your exams, when you get to that project, you're not going to be able to code a single line. Right. So keep that in mind. That's not collaboration. The other direction in that road is that collaboration is not doing everything yourself. In other words, if you're working with somebody else, then you don't want to undermine the learning experience of their learning experience, like by saying, "All right, you're working too slow. I'm just going to take over and do everything." Right? That's not a partnership. That is not collaboration. Find a different partner. Find somebody with your at your own skill level. If you've done programming for a year or something in high school, or you've dabbled with HTML or something like that, and don't team up with somebody who they just got a computer or something like that. Of course, that's an exaggeration, but there are people of different skill levels. Make sure that you're working with somebody at your same experience. When you start this course, there are going to be people with low experience and people with high experience. It doesn't matter. At the end of this course, everybody is going to be operating at the same high level. Okay. Uh, Collaboration is an equal effort. It allows you to bounce ideas off of each other, but only if you are openly communicating and communicating well. Right? It gives you a second pair of eyes. If you have a bug and you just can't find it, instead of sitting there racking your head against the keyboard, bring in that second pair of eyes, take a look at it, and different people with different perspectives are going to be able to see things that you're not necessarily able to see. So for that reason, I encourage you not to simply just collaborate with your friend group, right? People who have different experience, people who have different ways of thought processes than you're used to. Those are great because it brings in a diversity of points of view. It brings in a diversity of experience, and you can capitalize on all of that really well. All right. Don't just collaborate with your friends. Collaborate with somebody that you don't know. Right. We'll take a look at the syllabus here in a second, but one thing to understand is that there's no late work accepted. Make sure that you're abiding by our academic integrity policy. You do not copy code with respect to the project and the exams. You will be caught because we use a plagiarism detection software called MOS. As easy as it is to catch plagiarized English papers, it is a million times easier to catch plagiarized code. The MOS is a measure of software similarity. Just simply going in and changing variable names or changing the name or changing white space, no, we find that all the time. So don't just simply cut and paste code unless it's with your collaborator, and then you need to have both of your names on it. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at the syllabus now. Again, this is posted in Canvas, but the link is hosted on GitHub. So there's some other additional quotes that I'd like to share with you regarding this course. The readings were the most underrated things ever. I've never actually read them, but I wish I did. Thanks for providing them and leaving the whole course available to us. That's a reference to that's a former student that took this course before. He's referring to my books, the ones that I wrote. Prior to this year, I did not require Zybooks. This year, we're requiring Zybooks because it's the only way to check that people are reading, and we want to encourage more engagement with this course. And it is my hope that through Zybooks, we can do that by forcing people to read and checking that you're reading and making it part of your grade, rather than just me saying, "I've got this great book. It's free. Please read it." Right? Well, we've got this other book over here that's almost as good. And you have to read it, right? You have to get started somehow. And Zybooks is a decent book. Unfortunately, it costs $58. I wish it didn't, but it's the only way of grading and assessing whether or not you're doing the readings. Okay. The readings were I enjoyed the same, not the exact same student, but the exact same sentiment with respect to the videos. Enjoyed the videos, did not watch them videos until later, realized that it was a mistake now, right? So, learn from these past students, right? That using the resources provided by this course will mean that you have a much more successful time, that you'll get a lot more out of this course than if you just simply do everything last minute or rely on other people, like a partner or something, too much. Okay. Uh, there are the prerequisites. One thing I wanted to bring to your attention is the post requisites. If you are a computer engineering or computer science student and want to go on to computer science 2, you need a C or better. A D is not going to cut it in this course, right? I'll level with you now. Usually it's a bimodal distribution. We have, 1/3 of this class getting an A, right? 1/3 of this class getting an F or withdrawing, and the rest of them are somewhere in between, right? I would like to see that in between move up to A's, but you're only going to be able to do that if you actually take advantage of all of the resources in this course. Okay. Make sure that you are aware of this post-requisite. Now, if you're just taking this course because you want to learn some coding, or you're taking it from your other major, speak with your advisor as to what grade you actually need to get out of this course. I can't speak to any of that. Okay. Skills objectives, I would really like you to go through that and read it with a fine-tooth comb. Basically, you're going to be able to code out of this course, right? And exposure to several other things. SSD office is the place to go if you need accommodations. If you do not tell me that, do not reveal violate your own privacy by telling me that you have a diagnosed learning disability and that you need accommodations. Just go to SSD and they'll handle it. They'll tell me what you need. I'm not a doctor. I cannot diagnose it. And just if you need anything related to medical exemptions or learning disabilities, make sure that you're talking to the SSD office there. Okay. The grading, we've already talked about that, but there's a detailed breakdown right there. You've got 1,000 points here. However you get those 1,000 points, you need 700 of them to get a C minus. Where's the scale? There's the scale. So it's a standard scale. 90 and above is A minus or A, then A plus, etc. So you map that out to 1,000 points, and however you get those points, right? If you do all of your readings, that's 195 points. That's nearly 20% of your grade right there. With the free starter points, that's 20% of your grade, or more than 20% of your grade. So what are the starter points? Well, I needed it to sum to 1,000. But also, I wanted to put you off on a good foot. Everybody right now has earned that 35 points, regardless of what they've done. Right? So you've got 100% in this course right now. Keep it up. Right? Keep it up and make sure that you are getting an A in this course. Everybody could get an A in this course. All you need to do is do the work. You don't need to be super smart. Computer science is not for geniuses only. The people who are successful in this major, the people who are successful in this course, are the ones that work, right? The ones that that put in the effort, that put in the hard work, right? There are going to be some people that it just comes naturally, fine. That's true of anything though, right? I would not be able to pick up a violin and just start playing, right? It's going to take years of practice for me. Now, there's somebody else that might be able to pick up the violin and be competent in a few weeks or something like that. They're a genius at the violin, right? We don't have a lot of true geniuses in this world. The vast majority of people get to where they are by putting in the work and putting in the effort, and that's going to be true of this course as well. Okay. There are attendance policies. Before COVID, I was going to use clickers to make sure everybody's here, but again, you can't see what I'm seeing, but there's nobody here. Right? We're burning the lights though, or you wouldn't be able to see me at all here. If you do choose to come face-to-face into face-to-face instructional settings, that includes labs, that includes hacks, that includes lecture here. Then, of course, like everywhere at UNL, you will be required to wear a face mask. It's not pulling it down along the under the nose. It's not oh, I need to cough, so I'll take this off so I can cough, right? It's not what the pro plaguers are like. Make sure that you are wearing it properly. If you don't want to do that, that's perfectly fine. Stay home, watch the streams, right? It is a violation of the student code of conduct if you do not properly wear a mask when you come to face-to-face instructional setting. Okay. Make sure that you're reading the details of that because it was put out by the faculty senate. Social distancing, like I said, we've cut for a lecture. That means that you can only come to every fourth lecture. If your NUID ends in a 0, a 1, or a 2, you may attend even module weeks on Mondays. So next week when we start face-to-face instruction, if your NUID starts with a 0, ends, excuse me, with a 0, 1, or 2, you can come. It's always an option to stay home. There's an online section with 40 people in it. If you want to switch over to the online section, that's perfectly fine too. In fact, I would encourage you to stay home. If you're sick, definitely stay home. If you're exhibiting symptoms, stay home. Do not come here at all, please. But if you really, really want to come and see me face to face, because you think I'm lonely in here, well, I'm not. I can see all you people on chat here and over. Well, you're keeping me out of the Discord. Share that Discord with me, and I'll be on that too if you want. But I don't know what Discord everybody is joining because the UNL Discord is dead. There's nobody in there at all. Anyway, if your NUID ends with a 3 or a 4, then you can come on Wednesdays of even module weeks. And then we flip it on the next week. If it ends in a 5, 6, or 7, you can come in odd weeks on Mondays. 8 or 9, you can come in on those Wednesdays. Okay? So, lecture, because there are only 53 seats in here, we really have to restrict it. The good news is that labs and hacks, we've got overflow rooms. Those are posted in Canvas. So let me go ahead and jump up to that. Course information. If you're taking that 8 a.m. course, of course, again, let me restart. Again, virtual attendance is always an option. In fact, it might be your best option. So you're always able to hop onto Zoom during those hours that we're holding office hours and get some help, or you can always Discord with somebody else in the class if you need to or whatever. But unfortunately, our regular lab section of Avery 20 is limited to 15 people. All right, so once it's full, then you need to start going to the alternative room, which is Avery 21, right next door for that section. There's none for that lab section because of enrollment is so low there. But if you are in the 253 section, you've got to walk all the way over to Jorgensen Hall. Or Jorgensen Hall is actually closer to the dorms if you're in the dorms. But the thing about all of these overflow rooms is that they're BYOD, bring your own device. You will have to bring a laptop because there are no computers in those rooms, right? If people go to those rooms and fill those rooms up, then of course you need to go down to the actual lab. But of course, if you're attending remotely 100% of the time, that's perfectly fine too. Okay. We will have a learning assistant in the regular lab section. We will have a learning assistant in the alternative room, and we will have a learning assistant online on Zoom, or at least one in each one of those places. Of course, with the higher enrollment ones, we're going to have 5 or 6 of them in there, right? So you'll always be able to get help. You can always work out ahead. You can always come in, via Zoom to a session that is not your assigned session. For those of you in the online session, feel free to come virtually via Zoom to any one of these at any time. Okay. All right. Let's see. Can we turn in the lab activity day? Absolutely. Go ahead. Grade. Make sure that you grade it, and you'll be good to go. Of course, we're not going to update your score until Wednesday when we grade everybody's. Right. So don't expect it to be graded right away. Let's see what else. Oops. Going back to the syllabus here. Right. The readings we've already talked about. Zybooks. Again, if you have a credit card, you can go ahead and you don't care about financial aid. You can go ahead and purchase that directly through Canvas. If you have the means to do that, I would encourage you to go ahead and do it. If you don't have the means to do that and you need to go through the bookstore, please bear with me. I left them now several voicemails expressing my displeasure. You can do the same. Right? Again, we talked about the labs, the hacks, and the project and the exam at the end. The 15th week policy, we don't have 15 weeks this semester, so whatever the 14 weeks, I guess. Understand that there are some things that are due in that last week before the week before the finals week is only those 3 days before the break for Thanksgiving. And at Thanksgiving, then the semester is done. But there are some things that are due in that week prior to the Thanksgiving week. So keep that in mind. I highly encourage you to get a calendar app of some sort and hook in to the calendar that's in Zoom, that's in Canvas here. You can view the calendar. You can export it as an ICS or an iCal format, and then you can go ahead and import it directly into whatever calendar app you're using. All the due dates are right here. All right, everything's already been set up, including the lectures, labs, the hacks, the readings, all right, et cetera, et cetera. The readings should be on here, but they're not. Maybe it's just because there's too many things. Huh. I'll have to check into that. But the readings are definitely due. Let's go back. In the assignments, Module 1.0 reading due on August 21st, this Friday. Okay. All right. The scale is a standard scale, like I talked about before. And again, if you're a major, you need a C or a better, computer science, computer engineering. For your own major, if you're not one of those majors, then you'll need to check with your advisor. If you have questions about grading, you will need to talk to the person that graded it first. You won't see it right now, and I don't have a demo set up, but eventually what you'll see when you'll be invited to something called CodePost.io, and that's an online system that we use to annotate your code. We'll put in comments that, no, don't do this, or this is a bad variable name, or something like that. And eventually, when you actually have something to hand in, we'll send out a notification that you should join that CodePost.io so that you can get that feedback. Right? There's no late work policy. There's no late work accepted. If you do have something unforeseen, go ahead and you know that it's coming up. Like there's not much that hasn't been canceled this year. But if you, for some reason, you do have something major, like a scholarship requirement that requires you to be somewhere on a certain date that misses that midterm, talk to me. Okay. Make sure that everything works in the web grader. If it doesn't work in the web grader, we can't grade it. So make sure that you've taken care of all your bugs. Make sure that it all compiles. Standard academic integrity declaration. Communication. The only way the preferred way, and even if you send me a question through email, as many of you, or Canvas, as many of you have seen, I will encourage you to take that question over to Piazza because as you've seen, we've had 10 follow-up posts here, or more, actually, more than a dozen follow-up posts, and other students have answered a lot of them, right? And you'll get a lot quicker responses if you post to Piazza. Okay. Let's see. All right, some griefers. Don't make me shut it off, man. Is there a link? Is there a link for the lab Zoom? Yes. Make sure that you're going to Canvas, and in Canvas, learning assistance and office hours. All right, there's the grid of all your office hours. There is the link along with the passcode to get there. I submitted Lab 1 on CSE Handon, but it doesn't show that it's completed on Canvas. Like I said, you're working early here. We're not going to grade those until Wednesday. You turn your mic up. Unfortunately, it's built in. I don't. It's probably hard to hear because of the mask, but I will be bringing an external mic later on. That's something that I was going to do, and then I forgot to do it today. Why is C the language that we're starting out with? Good question. Let me jump to something really quick here. If you're not familiar with the term lingua franca, it's the lingua franca of programming languages. The vast majority of programming languages are what are called C-style syntax. C, C++, C#, Objective-C, Java, even Python. Python has a little bit different roots, but a lot of programming languages are inspired by C, and so they'll look familiar. C is still a fundamental programming language that is widely used. In fact, if you take a look at the TOEB index of the PIPL, or what are the popular programming languages, C is always going to be in the top 5. It's probably going to be C, C Sharp, Java, and Python, and then fifth place will be some miscellaneous thing depending on it. If you learn C, you will be able to pick up nearly any other programming language. If you start out with Java first, then it's kind of difficult to pick up C because of the nuances of the language. C allows you to understand the computer better, to understand a little bit more of the architecture better. Okay. Let's see. Is the code still on backward? Okay. I don't know. You'd have to check the store. You want to join the Discord? Okay. There's the code. I'm not going to launch Discord right now, but thanks. If we opted to take this class online, will we be made to come to class? Absolutely not. You shouldn't come to class. There's not going to be a seat for you. Online means online, right? Where will the lab be streamed? There is no stream. It's a lab. You're doing stuff. You are coding stuff. You are you're turning stuff in. There's nothing to stream for the lab, okay, or the hack. For us taking this class online, do the lab worksheets apply to us? Yes, they do. They're part of your grade. All right. Can we cancel the code order through the bookstore before buying it through Canvas? I have no idea. I'm pretty sure that you can I don't even know if you can get a refund after the fact if they do issue you one. Talk to the bookstore about that. For getting help on lab reading hacks, where can I find the Zoom information? Again, Canvas. I'm having a hard time starting the lab and finding the code. I have the editor and everything set up, but I can't find the code I need. Well, if you read the instructions in the lab, it tells you to git clone, and then it gives you the URL for it. Otherwise, here's the lab stuff. Here's the starter code. Right? Let's see. Do you know if there will be open seats? If possible, I might be able to attend in person more often than every fourth. At this point, no, until I get a head count of the number of people actually showing up. We did send out a survey 2 weeks ago to try to do that to see how many people were willing to just say, okay, I'm not going to attend at all. So I could try to increase that to every other time or something like that. Unfortunately, only 1/3 of the class actually responded to it, so we're not going to be able to do that. Later on, maybe. The lecture next Monday is not really 5 a.m., is it? No. Oh, God, did I put that there? Well, I'll be up, but I'll be running, so I can live stream my 5K if you want. You'll refer to the handouts. We copy and paste things from our lab code. Where is that in Canvas? Again, right here on the front page. Right? Where is the handout that you were talking about in the other videos? Which handout? You're going to have to be more specific than that, man. All right. All right, so we're caught up on questions here. Let's see. Again, communications and getting help. Get help the right way. Make sure that you're using Piazza. Make sure that you're using the full amount of resources that we've given you. The lectures, the lecture videos, the pre-prepared lecture videos, the required reading, the labs and the hack sessions, and getting into office hours if you need help. Piazza. Last year, I think that the average response time on Piazza was like 5 minutes, and that's including midnight people that are up really late because they prefer to be late, or maybe they're all the way across the globe. Office hours and Student Resource Center. There is a Student Resource Center, but when you check it out, it will also be virtual. So that's distinct from our own Zoom office hours, but they also hold Zoom office hours. And you can get in there, and generally there will be people that will be able to help you with C. But of course, there are already 21 people available in our own Zoom room. Make sure that you're going to them first. All right. Let's see. Okay, that's good. Let's go back to the presentation here and jump out. So again, there's Canvas, there's Piazza, there's the hand-in, the grader that I showed you, Zybooks. That shouldn't be there. Graduate teaching assistants, we cut them out. We only have learning assistants, but we have 21 of them. They are all undergrads just like you. They're all people, individuals that went through this course before, either last year or maybe 2 years ago. And so they know all the material. They all got great grades. They are all great students, and they're all here to help you. So make sure that you're getting into Zoom and asking questions if you need them. All right? And then, of course, there's the Virtual Student Resource Center. How to succeed in this course? First of all, don't assume anything about yourself. If you are very, very confident because you've been doing coding in Java for the last 2 years or something like that, don't assume that those skills will translate. Right? If you were an ace in high school, don't assume that you were able to get by with A's without even studying. Great. Don't assume that that same is going to transfer to college. Right? And that's not just this course; it's other courses as well. Um, Even if you have greater than zero knowledge, you will still learn something from this course. I can almost guarantee you that nobody coming from a high school background, at least in Nebraska, is going to have any C experience at all. Right? They might have Java experience, they might have some HTML, CSS, or even Python experience. I can almost guarantee that nobody will have any C experience. Okay. When you coding is a skill like any other, right? Again, you're not going to be able to pick up a violin or a saxophone or something like that and play on the first day. You're not going to be able to pick up your CS50 IDE and start coding intricate, complex code. Everybody starts somewhere, and everybody starts at the ground level. All right. Don't compare yourself to others who have had that multiple years of experience, and so they pick it up quicker. Right. That's perfectly fine for them. Don't compare yourself to them. Compare yourself to yourself. Right. Look at yourself at the beginning of this course. Look at yourself 3 weeks into this course and compare those two people. You'll find that second person, that 3 week in person, is a completely different person. Right? And you will be amazed at the amount of improvement that you've had if you're putting in the work. Compare yourself to the person that you are at the end of this course, 14 weeks from now. And I can guarantee you that you're not going to be the same person as far as skill level goes. It takes time. We call that a bake-in period. It takes time to learn to code. It takes time to get good at it. Okay, you're not going to pick it up all overnight. And even if you do, great for you. You know, not everybody's going to. Right? All right. Everybody will struggle or may struggle, but everybody can succeed by the end of this course if you're putting in the work. Okay. All right. So again, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you're claiming your CSE account as soon as possible. You can go to csc.unl.edu/claim. I think. Yep. You will need to enter your Husker email address. I do not have one, and I've already got my account anyway. Just make sure that you're claiming your account. By the way, I go over all of this in video 1.1. Once you've got your account, then that will get you into the web hand-in system that we looked at before over here, that you can hand stuff in for Lab 1. It'll get you access to the web grader. Exact same password over here. This login is different from your MyRed, from your Canvas login, whatever else you're using. Unfortunately, it is yet another login, so you'll have to keep track of that. Don't still use a strong password though. For this course, we recommend that you use the CS50 IDE. That means that you need to get a GitHub account, github.com, right? And you know what? I'm logged in here, so I'm going to have to start a private one and go to GitHub. This is what it looks like initially with you before you actually register. I recommend that you sign up with your Huskers email. You might get some free goodies because it'll have a .edu address, and they give free stuff to students all the time. So I recommend that. Once you've got your GitHub account, then you can get into your CS50 IDE, right, which is ide.cs50.io. Log in. It'll take you to GitHub, and you can use your GitHub email address. If you're already logged into GitHub, then it'll be automatic, and then it'll look something like this. You've got a file explorer over here on the left. You've got a code editor on the top, and then you've got your command line prompts down here, right? So you can list the files. There's archive and code, the same files that you see over here. I don't know, can I zoom in here? Nope, unfortunately. I can zoom in down there, but I can't zoom in over here. Okay. I'll try to make that big. There we go. So let's go ahead and create a file here. All you have to do is right click. Let's see, huh, new file. There we go, all the way to the bottom. All right. I'll just go ahead and go with hello.c. This is basically what you do in lab 1. I'll double click that, and right here now I'm coding. Yay, I'm coding. All right. Well, of course that's not real code. That's just button mashing. So let's go ahead and go back over here to my presentation and take a look at. Again, if you watch videos 1.1 through 1.2, I walk you through the first lab. I walk you through hack 1. 1.3, by the way, is an alternative way of getting onto the CSE system if you're interested, right? Especially if you're off campus and you don't want to use the CS50 IDE, but the CS50 IDE is the recommended because it runs in a web browser. It runs anywhere. If I close this, it's persistent, so it'll save all my files. But of course, you should back them up by downloading them. You can download this file to your own computer. You'll need to download it anyway to hand it in. And so you can actually download the entire project, I believe. Download project. Back it up every week or so, or every day, right? Or just check it into GitHub like you should be doing, right? All right, let's see. So there's our first main or hello world program. I can copy pasta that if you want, copy paste it. Don't do that, it leads to spaghetti code. Spaghetti code is bad, and we'll talk about that later. I'm going to include, a library that has a bunch of standard stuff, stdlib.h. stdlib is std stands for standard, lib stands for library. That brings in a whole bunch of standard stuff so that you can use it. I'll include another library called stdio. IO stands for input-output. Scanf, printf, if you've been doing the reading, that's standard input and standard output. Right? I'll include a main. argc char argv. Don't worry about that magic stuff for now. We'll talk about that stuff later. Those are command line arguments. Return 0. Right? Don't worry about that. Just understand that the main function is how your program starts. Everything that gets run, everything that gets started, has to have a starting point. Your starting point in programming is the main function. In this case, it's called main, right? At the end, so any code that we put into this program here will execute line by line, line 5, then line 6, line 7. There's obviously no code here yet. And then finally, return ends the program, or it actually returns from this function. Well, since this was the main entry point, it returns back to the operating system. In this case, I think we're in Ubuntu hostname. Oh, okay. Host. I don't know. I think it's an Ubuntu Docker instance. Oh well, the host name is IDE apparently. Anyway, so we actually need a program here. Let me go ahead and just print hello world. Anytime you get started programming, you will always have that first hello world program. That goes back to actually C. I think Kernighan and Ritchie, the guys who invented C, they're the ones that started out. Here's a program that looked in our programming language. This is what it looks like to say hello world. It's the simplest program that you can write to see that can I compile it? Can I run it? Do I see output? Right? Just hello world. Right? Printf stands for print formatted. We're going to be printing this to the standard output. The standard output is down here in the CS50 ID, right? This terminal right here, right? Hello world, that's called a string. I'm putting double quotes right there. And it's just a sequence of characters. HELLO space world, right? We all understand that, but what's this /n here? And by the way, that's a backslash, because if you look at it, the guy, it's leaning back. This is a where is it? This is a forward slash. Why? Because if you look at the guy going left to right, he's leaning forward, right? That's a \n. That's a special character to go to the next line, right? I can't do this. I just, because if I just type the next line character, that just breaks the string up. So I need to actually have what's called a special escape sequence to say you should print hello world followed by the next line character. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and compile this. You can clear out your output down here. GCC is our compiler, and I'm going to compile hello.c. Oops, sorry. There is no hello.c. Why? If I list where I am here at the root of this file system. I need to get into this. This file right here is actually in this directory. So I'll cd change directory into this this subdirectory here. Now, if I type ls, that's listing all the files. There's that hello.c file. In fact, on the CS50 IDE, I think it's clickable, right? Yeah. If I close this out, I can click it down here and open it, right? And it'll open it right back up. Nice and convenient. I'm going to go ahead and compile this. This is just a quick demonstration to get you started. Again, if you watch video 1.1 or 1.2, it'll be even more detailed than I'm doing right now. That produces a file called a.out, and you'll see that it's green. That's because it is executable. I'll execute that now. /a.out, and it prints hello world, goes down to the next line. Again, if I didn't have that end line character, save the file, recompile it, rerun it, then it won't go down to the next line. Right? And you'll see that the code here, the prompt, stays on the same line. So let me go ahead and restore that. Anytime you make changes to a source file, you need to recompile it and then rerun it. Now, your first assignment or your first lab is to change this into your name. All right. So my name is Chris. Hello, Chris Burke, or whatever, however you want to do it. And also make sure that you are putting in documentation. I'm going to go ahead and do documentation using doc-style comments. We'll get into comments later, but I'm going to put down that I wrote this, today's date, my first program, yay me. All right. There's my first program, and I'm going to hand that in, and I'm going to be proud of it because I'm going to get those 10 points. And I will be up to 45 points and still have 100% in this class by the end of Tuesday. Right? So what you need to be doing tonight is probably watching video 1.1 and getting started on lab 1. You have all day tomorrow to work, all night, and all day tomorrow to work on it and hand it in. All right, before we adjourn here, we do have 8 minutes left. Can we turn in the activity today? Yes. GitHub account. I can't attach my Husker account to GitHub. I'm not sure what that means. If you assign, if you sign up with your Husker account, they will shoot you an email to your Husker email account. You do need to get into that Husker email account to actually, verify yourself to GitHub. I don't have a Husker account, so anybody know where to go to get your actual email, Husker's email? Is it UNL? Well, just do some Google foo here. UNL Husker account. Student accounts. Oh, you know what? It was the second one right there. Email for all students. All right, there you go. So just use your Google foo to find out where you should go if you don't know where it is. Right? Follow the steps in the New Student tab. If you're a current student and don't have one already, follow the steps there, etc. You will need to get access to your Husker's email account. Okay. How do we do the okay, let's go ahead and I'm jumping down to new questions here that are unresolved. If we're taking it in person, how do we switch to online, or does it not matter? Well, it doesn't matter to me. I don't know if there are additional fees or less fees if you take the online version, but the online version is section 700, and you'd have to re-register for that. Talk to your advisor for re-registering. Well, we don't. This course does not use clickers, so I don't know if you need your clicker for other courses, but you don't need it for this one. Right? Does the 1.2 video tell us how to do the hack? Yep, I walked you through it. Let's see. What kind of games do you play in your free time? Funny you should mention that. Let's see. Retro Bowl for that game. Otherwise, I don't have a lot of free time. But when I did, I played Splatoon 2. We only have a Switch in our house because I've got young kids. I did try to play through the first hour or so. of Paper Mario and until our Switch's fan died. By the way, if it happens to your Switch, what happened was the fan died and we didn't notice it. And apparently in the Switch, the fan circuitry is connected to the actual Switch controller chargers. So our chargers died, and so we had to play it on the cradle, and eventually it started overheating and shutting down. And that's when we realized that the fan was dead. That's when when we found out through searching online that that if the fan dies, so do your charging controllers. So instead of sending it into Nintendo and for a $150 repair or something, you can do it yourself pretty easy. And it was only a $20 fan off of Amazon. So if you have a Switch, there's all sorts of problems with the damn Switch. We have 3 sets of controllers and they all drift. Do you have a preferred website like Code Academy or something to practice code? Not personally, but Code Academy is good. Coursera has a lot of courses. If you're looking for like mathematical stuff, Project Euler is great. But I do have a nice, we won't go far enough in this course, but at the end of fall courses, I like to go to Advent of Code. And it looks like they have from 2019. I'm not logged in right now, but Advent of Code is an Advent calendar every December 1st through the 25th. They've got programming exercises every day. Of course, you can go back to 2015 and start doing them now if you want to. There are 4 years, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So there are 5 years of archives if you want some practice problems. By the end of this course, you'll definitely be able to do all of those. Is Atom a good IDE for this course? 1.3, I walk you through how to use Atom along with the compiler on the CSE server. So yes, if you want to go that route. I use Atom all the time. In fact, I will use Atom to do my lectures. You just won't see it. You'll see it, it'll be on the other screen. Where do I find the lab worksheets? They are in the starter code. Right? Let's see. And there's not one for lab 1. Do we need to attend anything online for the lab tomorrow? I mean, if you got the lab done, then no. You could come into Zoom and hang out and say hi to everybody if you really wanted to, but whatever. All right. For online section, you said that the lab worksheets are required, but how am I going to demonstrate that what I did to you, and how are you going to sign the worksheet? We don't sign the worksheet. You hand them in. And how am I going to turn it into you? Sounds to me more like the person, more for in-person than students. What am I missing? If there are instructions that say that you need to get it signed off or something, then those need to be updated. You're doing everything electronically. You hand in everything. You check the grader, and on Wednesday we do a batch check, and we award points based on the output. Someone is asking for a Piazza code in live chat. I'll go ahead and ping everybody again, but you should be getting them with whatever email is associated with your MyRed account. If you're still not getting those, then go ahead and email me directly. Will we need a laptop? I have a personal computer at home. Not really. If you do everything at home, then you don't need a laptop. If you take the exam at home, then no, you don't need a laptop. But there are laptop recommendations, by the way, on Piazza. There's a thread way down at the bottom. For most purposes, I mean, don't get a gaming laptop. Game on a desktop like a normal person. For laptops, just Windows, $500, $600 is going to be more than enough for the vast majority of things that you're going to do. The thing about tools is every tool, make sure that you buy the cheap, you buy cheap on tools, and then when it breaks, that's when you buy the expensive one, because you know that you use it enough that you should get the expensive one. Okay. If you go with that top of the line laptop and you realize, great, you'll never hit any bottlenecks, but you spend $2,000, $3,000 or something on those gaming laptops when you don't need it. You're just doing everything in an IDE anyway. right? Or in a web browser, right? Let's see. Is there a preferred day for having the student helpers assist me? Any day that you Monday through Friday that they've got their hours posted there. It doesn't matter. Some people, some of them are more well covered, of course, during the Tuesdays and Thursday hack sessions. But otherwise, you'll generally have 1 to 3 LAs attending those days. I would one thing I would not recommend that you do is try to get help on Monday nights because all the individuals that have waited to the last minute, they're going to be flooding. Let's see, who are the lucky duckies? Kim and Siemens. They're going to be flooded big time on Monday night. So start early is my recommendation. It isn't shooting the email. Hop on the office hours afterwards, and maybe somebody can help you with that. Okay. All right. Any last minute questions? Otherwise, we're past the 15-minute point. Yeah, you can access everything. You know what? I'm just there's somebody that's not enrolled here. Here's the starter point for everything in this course. That's a public GitHub repo. It'll have links to everything that you need. All right. All right. Have a good night. And I'm gonna go check the scores. All right. See ya.